Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're excited to bring you this exciting LinkedIn Live webinar on Windows Refresh, Windows 11 Refresh. So as we look through here, I just wanted to go over a couple of housekeeping items real quick. This is a LinkedIn Live webinar format, and we are going to do a little bit of a fireside chat with a representative from Microsoft, and is sponsored by Ingram Micro today. Use the chat or comments tools to post any questions for the panel. And then if you have any questions later on, don't hesitate to reach out to your Meriplex rep. So today we've got an esteemed panel with Paul Oldman from Microsoft. He's a product manager for Windows 11. We've got Thomas Fenzel from Ingram Micro, and myself, Patrick Daly, Director of Product Marketing for Meriplex.
So Thomas, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Thomas Fenzel with Ingram Micro. I'm the solution specialist for Microsoft OEM and retail, dealing with Windows 11 as well as Office. For all the Meriplex representatives, you'd be reaching out to my team if you had any questions regarding OS or Office or other retail products as well. So if you do have any questions, I'll definitely be able to assist you with that. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. And I'm Paul Oldham with Microsoft. We work very closely with Ingram Micro, and Thomas is our Microsoft expert over at Ingram Micro. So like he said, if there's any kind of questions, support, concerns, Thomas is your guy. He's got a direct link to Microsoft to help us, which is huge value add for us. So a little bit about myself. I was at Lenovo for 6 years before Microsoft. And before that, I was at Cisco Systems for 10 years. So good industry knowledge background. And what we want to do today is we want to bring you guys some ideas, some upsell ideas, where we see the market going. We'll talk about it from Windows, but overall from a bigger perspective as well. So we've got about 6 topics, 6 from Microsoft, and a couple from Meriplex that we're going to just hit high level at. So feel free to take notes. Feel free to look for the buzzwords, and from there, it's going to give you ideas on how to increase your revenue. Okay, get the agenda, Patrick?
Thank you. Yes, I've got the agenda. Not sure why it's not showing up, but we're going to go through why.
Nothing like a live demo, huh?
Correct. There it is.
There we go.
So why Windows 11? Why is it important for you? What's going to do for your business? And why is sometimes a device refresh necessary? We're going to go through hybrid workspace and the impacts of Windows 11 on a hybrid workspace, how commercial grade PCs are ready to support that, go through education, security, Autopilot, mitigating risks of a migration, some DAS solutions, and Q&A sessions. So stay tuned, and I'm going to turn it over to Paul right now for the device refresh. So Paul, go ahead.
Thank you, Patrick. So let's talk about device refresh for a minute, right? We at Microsoft, we've identified there's over 30 million devices out there that could use a refresh. Now, this means they're either 4 years or older. This means they're either on Windows 10, but they're ripe for a device refresh. Now, why? What's the big deal for this device refresh? So, it really comes down to, hybrid work is here. That's a reason for device refresh, right? You have to have the latest and greatest on security, on Teams, on your microphone, on your camera, so that you can maximize this hybrid workplace because it's here to stay. Security is huge. We'll talk about security on a few different topics, but that's another reason why you want to refresh your device. And then enhanced features, right? One thing that we keep hearing about is it's tough to retain your employees. Employees want the best of that technology. They want the best PC. They want the latest Adobe update. They want the best tools, right? That's a big way to retain your employees. So, those are your simplistic terms on why Windows 11. Okay, next slide. Let's talk about hybrid workplace here. So, we've been very bullish on this, that hybrid work is here to stay. 90% of enterprise anticipates higher cloud usage now than before COVID-19. So the pandemic kind of stirred the pot on this of, we have to do hybrid workplace. We have to work from home. Now where you have a chance to go back to normal. How does this look? What does it do for the quality of life, quality of employees? So hybrid workplace is certainly here to stay. We also found out that 77% of companies surveyed feel it's important for employees to have the latest and most updated PCs. So that's another one back to that last point. 73% of companies want flexible remote options. And then we had 67% want more in-person collaboration. So totally contradictory, right? I mean, some people want this, some people want that. What that did is that made us focus back on Microsoft Teams, right? What does this mean for Teams? It means that we had to relook at the microphones. How do we make our microphones better? Because hybrid work is here to stay. It meant background noise. How do we fix some of that background noise so that you have the best experience when you're in a virtual meeting? It meant cameras. How do we make sure that our cameras are top notch, right? And so the pandemic was good for Microsoft. It made us really look under the covers and say, all right, all these different things that were working fine, how do we take them to the next level? So, and we did that because we view hybrid workplace being here to stay. Okay, next one. So this is go ahead. Is there a question?
I was saying, let's just take a look at the commercial grade PCs that you were talking about there, Paul.
Yeah, so it's funny when you talk about commercial grade PCs, the employees' universe of PC possibilities equals what's on the Best Buy shelves, right? They go to Best Buy, they think that's the latest and greatest. That's a retail version PC. That's not a commercial grade PC. Now, we are very agnostic on what OEMs you choose, whether that's HP or Dell, Lenovo. We don't care, right? But we do care about premiums and pro devices. Pro devices have more features. Pro devices have better security. So they will take their security on top of our security so that you're that much more protected. So, and then with Windows 11 as well, right? So it's really important on your device refresh conversation to say, guys, commercial grade PCs, right? Windows 11 Pro, and not just, the low end. It's very easy from an OpEx standpoint. Let's buy the $300 computer. Let's buy the $500 computer. That comes with a lot less features. So make sure you investigate that. Commercial grade PCs means higher ASPs for everyone. It means more margin for everyone. So that's certainly an area that we support and focus on for sure.
Great, thank you. How does that impact the education side of it?
So the education is a place that we've dedicated a lot of time and effort and investments in. So we built this unified platform for teaching and learning. Okay, we start by Windows 11. It ties in with Microsoft 365, and then it's centered around the teams. So that creates the best platform for learning, right? Again, we go back into hybrid workplace. Yeah, I mean, what does this do for snow days in the future? It means there's a potential where, you're going to be able to still work from or have school from home based on Microsoft Teams, right? So we're making a big push in education. We are telling our story, teacher parent conferences. That could turn into an opportunity, right? But we want to have this whole ecosystem that's safe and secure, built around storage, have Teams part of it. That's our education story. That we just wanted to tell you guys. You're going to see a lot more. You're going to see a lot of advertising, a lot of media campaigns based on Windows 11 and Windows 11 education. So you heard it first here, but look for this in the next 3 years for us to make a huge push in education. And why? It's because we got that overall story.
Paul, thanks for that first look. I know that with when you talk about education, that does apply also to other verticals such as retail, and they leverage Windows all the time in their PC environment. We also look at healthcare. Healthcare is a huge impact with our teams here. We see a lot of healthcare providers, and branch offices that are leveraging that. Paul, how do you think that that's going to impact that client base and financial as well?
Yeah, I mean, we also have a division called Internet of Things, right? And what we're trying to do is connect everything together. So you think about, a manufacturer like Philips, and they might have a heart monitor, right? Those are all run on an operating system. So, Windows 11 is built inside of these OEM Internet of Things products. And now think about how do you guys have an opportunity to sell on top of that? You could connect that to Azure. You could connect that to Microsoft Teams and sell more licenses. And this, when we say healthcare, this isn't the huge Kaiser affiliations. We're talking about small, even with Banfield, even with, what am I trying to say? The animal hospitals, right? There's some of these are just a one hospital show. It's not a huge chain. So, we're trying to build upgrade cycles so that you could go into this platform and try and upsell a Teams, try and upsell an Azure, try and upsell a Surface for the front office. So, the goal here is to try and upsell as much as you can once you're connected to the ecosystem.
I love that use case around the healthcare with the IoT, Internet of Things. You're looking at somebody's pacemaker or something like that, remote surgery. There is an operating system behind it all. So great point there, Paul. And with all that, when you look at retail, you look at financial, you look at banking and healthcare, it's got to be having some kind of impact or security. How do you ensure the security through Windows?
Yeah, you're right. Especially finance, security is so big. But here's a point for everybody. Look up a guy named Mafia Boy. His name is Michael Calce, Calce. He was on HP's payroll for years as a hacker gone legit. He tells this fantastic story. So Google, we like to say Bingham because we don't like to say Google at Microsoft, but look up his videos, his profile. Basically, he's a very real guy that went legit, and he could be sourced out to companies, and he talks about how he can break into your infrastructure. And it's funny because he's not a corporate guy, but he was responsible for taking down the internet at age 13. That's how smart this guy is. But the way he tells this story about, when companies hire him and he finds out who some employees are and he jumps on the train and he watches these employees log on from the train, and then they get to a public hotspot and he waits for that. Then he drops in a malware. And then when that employee gets into the office, boom, he's in just like that. So he's the kind of guy that you want to say, poke holes in this, tell me how to have all these patches, and then tell me how to proactively be able to stop all this stuff. And that's what Windows 11 does, right? Windows 11 security is top notch, right? So when we tell this story to IT managers, it's not good enough. They want to know what, they want to know how, they want to know why. And so, one of our statistics we saw from Windows 10 to Windows 11, 58% drop in security issues compared to Windows 10 Pro. And the reason is why, right? Windows 10 Pro was very secure, but you had to turn on all of these features. What we did with Windows 11 is we turned them all on. So now you have to turn them off if you want to, because a lot of people don't even touch, the security features, right? And so by turning them on, making them turn it off is a lot more secure, 58% in calls, right? And if you're an IT manager, the less calls you have, the less troubleshooting you do, and the more time you get. That's the single biggest way to get noticed by your boss.
Great. Hey, Paul, we just had a question flash up on here. Is there a sunset or an end of support timeline for Windows 10?
Yeah, I think Microsoft does a good job of this, right? They didn't announce Windows 11 and then cut off Windows 10. No, Windows 11's been out here for a while, a couple years. Windows 10, had a time to sunset. And so we did a last time end of sale, which was October 31st on Windows 10. Now, there's a big difference between end of sale and end of support. We're still going to support it until 2025. But the last time you could have bought it from Ingram Micro was October 31st. So now it's still probably a little bit out in the channel. We'll support it. But our goal here is we are all in on Windows 11. We wanted to give it a couple years just to make sure that if there was any bugs, we could work out the bugs. But Windows 7 to Windows 10 was challenging. We had a whole new platform. Windows 10 to Windows 11, we built it off the same platform. So if you have these proprietary apps that were running on 10, they're very safe and they run seamlessly with Windows 11. We didn't have that same experience with Windows 7. So we learned a lot. So a lot of people that are like, I love Windows 10. I don't want to change. I don't want to upgrade. Okay, we're realizing they're a lot more comfortable now compared to the last transition.
Okay. What if I want to go back to Windows 10 if I'm on 11, or if there's any kind of system requirements that applications that I'm running that aren't ready for 11?
Yeah, that's a great question. And in fact, we get a lot of people that want that. They bought Windows 11, but they want to downgrade to Windows 10. Or they had a commercial grade PC that came with Windows 11, but they're still so comfortable they want to downgrade to 10. There is that opportunity. You can still do that. Yes.
Great. With that, let's take a look at Autopilot. Let's tell the folks about Autopilot and how it can help them.
So Autopilot was really good for IT managers during the pandemic. So imagine if you have new employees, they're coming in, but you can't go into the office, right? How are you going to get them a PC? How are you going to image it? How are you going to asset tag? How are you going to get all of that, your VPN on that system if this employee can't come in, right? And so what happens is, Autopilot can be deployed remotely. And so, my case, when I started at Microsoft, it was during the pandemic and we had a supply chain issue. So A, I couldn't come into an office, but B, we couldn't get any PCs. So they had to use my personal PC, and through Autopilot had to give me all of my firmware updates so that I could get into the VPN and be into the Microsoft system. So that was a fantastic use case of what Autopilot is. Then we have something called Intune, and Intune is the management system. So once you're already in, you deployed your new PC, it's running on your company's VPN, then Intune takes that forward. That's the new management system that allows you to run it, going forward and after that. But, Autopilot was a great idea, to remotely deploy. Ingram Micro does offer the Autopilot services. So if you want to go and sell a refresh to, a customer and they want to deploy Autopilot and they don't want people, or it's a global company, they don't have everyone coming into an office, you can reach out to Thomas. He can connect you with the Autopilot guys and kind of go from there.
And definitely want to reach out to the Meriplex rep, and we'll bring in, the ordering side of it from Ingram. I think that there was a comment here. Microsoft will continue support for Windows 11 or Windows 10 until October 14th, 2025. Is that correct, Tom?
Correct. 2025. Yeah.
Okay. So any other questions we've got coming in? So if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the comment section. Right now, we're going to take a look at some of the assets. If you're looking at preparing for migration, we have a great blog that just got posted on our website. Is how to prepare for that migration. There's a lot of steps to it. You want to make sure you get a checklist together. There's a lot of advantages to Windows 11 around security and new application support, and just really becoming more of a everyday part of your life. And it just make sure that there's a lot of enhancements in Windows 11 that can help you to reduce IT costs and access innovative new apps and features. So Meriplex is here to help you make a smooth transition. We can help with that and get a checklist where we research the details with you, find out everything that's going on in your network, set clear goals and objectives for the transition, address potential obstacles, and help you to back up your data regularly. And then utilize any third-party tools that would help with that migration. And then, of course, we want to test before we implement. This is a great checklist, and it's on our blog there. So just consider using a third party to help out and drive that process with you. So one of the things we're talking about is refreshing your technology and your equipment, your devices. It can be daunting, an over-daunting task. Well, we're here to help, with the help of Ingram, with the help of Microsoft, to make it a simple process. to simplify it. Our engineers will help design and build and maintain and refresh your IT hardware, make it efficient, help eliminate the time and expense and stress out of your device life cycle management. And then also, we can transition it from a CapEx cost to an OpEx cost. So you pay one monthly seat or per device fee, and so that you don't have to carry that capital budgeting solution or expense. So we're here to make it easy for you to make that transition. It's important that you get to Windows 11, because then you can take advantage of all those new security features that are being built in. I'm going to pass it around to Paul and Thomas for any last comments, and then we've got our contact information here for you, and we're here for Q&A.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. I think you did a nice job, right? This is all about you guys and how to have this conversation. What's the buzzwords, right, of why device refresh? So think about that. Commercial grade PCs, security is very big. Hybrid workplace is very big. Education, right? Anything you can mention about deployment and remote deployment. Those are big words too. But let us know if there's anything you need help with. It's a crazy time in the world right now with the last year on macroeconomics, right? But we all know this isn't going to last. It's very cyclical, right? I personally see at the end of this year, I see things turning around. You're going to see IT spending come back. So, that's the time where you want to be ready. You want to start having these device refresh conversations so that when the macroeconomics does turn, you're on the forefront of this thing. You're top of mind. You're relevant, and then the orders can come in. But thank you, guys. Thank you for the time. This is fantastic.
Thank you. Thomas, anything you'd like to add?
You're
and of
mute,
course,
Tom.
it's no webinar or session or Teams call without having a little bit of a you're on mute conversation.
It didn't show it there, but my microphone was, so I apologize for that. But yeah, I was just going to say, if anyone does have any questions, please reach out to me. If I don't know the answer, I can definitely reach out to Microsoft for those answers that you might have. And I appreciate being here. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we've got a comment in here. Thank you, Julian. We appreciate the nice comment there. We've got questions coming in, so I'll turn it to the Q&A slide just to make sure we follow the questions. Is there any data available on the work efficiency improvement using Windows 11 versus Windows 10?
Yeah, that's a good question, Kevin. We do have some. I don't have them off the top of my mind. The majority of this was on the security. What did it mean for the IT managers, right? And how much can I save? How much time can I save? What does it mean into cases, right? Efficiencies probably goes to a lot of different sectors, and how do you manage that through? How do you monitor it, finance versus education or whatever? But our big thing is on the security, right? We want to message how much you would save on security alone. But speeds, running faster, the more tools, more collaborative tools, all of those feed into why this Windows 11 message. Thank you. Good question.
Thanks, Paul, for that answer, and thanks, Kevin, for that question. And you're right. It's not just the speeds and efficiencies we're getting from the devices themselves, but if you switch over to a managed DAS solution, we help with the logistics. We help with all that deployment of the new devices and technology refresh that takes a lot of your time, and effort to do that refresh. But, as we look at approaching, and the support for, Windows 10, people are going to have to migrate anyhow. So let's get ahead of that curve and get them on the most modern device. But yes. And you're right, Kevin. Even a small efficiency improvement could justify a refresh, especially if that small efficiency goes across the board. You think about airplanes used to serve food on a bed of lettuce, and they got rid of that single slice of lettuce, and it saved them billions of dollars a year. So, small efficiencies are awesome. Any other questions? If not, I think we just wrap it up here. Thank you. Please feel free to reach out to your Meriplex rep, and look forward to working with you all on refreshing your Windows 11 applications. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.